Is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. It's your host, Leon the King TV, and we back for another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. It's your host, Alex, and we're going to talk about today's episode. Well, first of all, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for that. And we're going to get right into it, y'all. Today, we are talking about who is on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Who is on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling? Who is the greatest in wrestling? And we're going to talk about on the list of the greats today. Who's the greatest of all time? There's a lot of big names that's on the list of greatest of all time, but I would start off on my list, and I would have to go with. I mean, you think about a lot of big names. You think about Undertaker, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, The Rock. Names can go on, but we're gonna go right into who we think the greatest wrestlers are, and who's on my list, in my opinion, of all-time greats. First, number one on the list, I'm gonna have to go with John Cena. John Cena, you think about someone who's dedicated so much to the business and who's given their life mostly to this business and who's done everything for the company and who's done everything for the sport in that industry. And John Cena definitely is on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Put it right there. John Cena, born in West Newbury, Massachusetts. Cena moved to California in 1998 to pursue a career as a bodybuilder. He switched to professional wrestling in 1999 when he debuted for Ultimate Pro Wrestling. He signed with the World Wrestling Federation, which is now WWE, in 2001, where he was assigned to Ohio Valley Wrestling. After moving to WWE SmackDown roster in 2002, Cena gained fame and success after adopting the persona of a trash-talking rapper. He won his first singles title, the United States Championship, in 2004. The next year, he won the WWE Championship, and his character changed to a clean-cut hero. He led the company as his franchise player and public face for the next decade. A joint record 16-time world champion, Cena has won the WWE Championship 13 times, a record for the title. He's also a 5-time U.S. champion, a 4-time World Tag Team champion, a 2-time Royal Rumble match winner, a 1-time Money in the Bank match winner, and headlined multiple major WWE pay-per-view events, including its flagship event, WrestleMania, 5 times. His professional wrestling career has been met with mixed critical and audience reception, with praise for his character work and promotional skills, but criticism for his perceived overrepresentation and on-screen placement relative to other wrestlers. So therefore, you think about all his. I mean, come on, when he in 2002, he pretty much kicked off the ruthless aggression era when debuting in his first match against Kurt Angle and defeating Kurt Angle, and also him with the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. I love the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick where he had the rapper gimmick. That was the best. I love that version of John Cena, but like I said, John was entertaining. He was fun. The Doctor of Thugonomics was great. And I think that's, I mean, whether he's overrated, yeah, but whether you like him or not, John Cena is. I mean, he's been the face of the company for years. He's he's relatable with children. He's relatable with the kids. Younger fans love him, but I think that he got to give him credit. He is one of the greats, though. Whether you like him or hate him, he is. Number two on my list, I'm gonna have to go with Randy Orton. Orton and Cena started around the same time, same era they came up. And Randy Orton is kind of like, you think about, I mean, same when you think about John Cena, you think about Randy Orton. Randy Orton is somebody who kind of pretty much built the ruthless aggression era. He's somebody that definitely was kind of another face of the company somewhat. He also, he's main event. I mean, Randy's great as well. So we're going to discuss some of his accomplishments. And here we go. Orton is a third generation. He's currently signed to WWE where he performs on the Raw brand. Orton is a third generation professional wrestler. His grandfather, Bob Orton, father Bob Orton Jr., and Uncle Barry Orton were all pro wrestlers. Before being signed with World Wrestling Federation, he trained in and wrestled for the Missouri Wrestling Association and Southern Illinois Conference Wrestling. He was then signed by the WWF and was sent to Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is OVW, where he held the OVW Hardcore Championship twice. Became a major member of the stable Evolution shortly after his WWE debut, which quickly led to an Intercontinental Championship reign, his first championship with the company. He also acquired the moniker The Legend Killer during a storyline where he began disrespecting and then physically attacking WWE Hall of Famers and wrestling veterans. At the age of 24, Orton became the youngest world champion in WWE history after he won the World Heavyweight Championship. With all this win, he departed from Evolution and a feud with his former stablemates began in 2006. Orton joined forces with Edge in a tag team known as Rated RKO. Together, they held the World Tag Team Championship. After Rated RKO disbanded in mid-2007, Orton gained 2 WWE Championship reigns in one night, becoming the second youngest two-time WWE champion at the age of 27. He formed the group Legacy with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. in 2008. They disbanded in 2010, and Orton returned to singles competition. From 2013 to 2015, he was aligned with the Authority, who named him the face of the WWE. In 2016, he joined the Wyatt family, winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships with Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper before turning on them in 2017. He won his first United States Championship in 2018, becoming the 18th overall Grand Slam champion after already having been the 17th Triple Crown champion. Orton's rivalry with fellow wrestler John Cena has been recognized as one of the longest and greatest rivalries in WWE history. So there we go. Randy Orton is one of the greats on that list. On that note, I think that he's definitely one of the best. His feud with John Cena was great. It's one of the longest feuds in WWE history. You think about Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. You also think about, just like now we're saying, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Well, there was a time where you saw John Cena and Randy Orton. And that's what that is, basically. A great feud in WWE. One of the greatest rivalries in WWE is Cena and Orton. Next, I'm going to go with Batista. Dave Batista. Batista began his wrestling career in 1999 and in 2000 signed with the then World Wrestling Entertainment. From 2002 and 2010, he gained fame under the ring name Batista and became a 6-time world champion by winning the World Heavyweight Championship 4 times and the WWE Championship twice. His first reign with the World Heavyweight Championship is the longest reign for that title at 282 days. He also held the World Tag Team Championship 3 times, twice with Ric Flair and once with John Cena, and the WWE Tag Team Championship once with Rey Mysterio. He was the winner of the 2005 Royal Rumble match and went on to headline WrestleMania 21, one of the top 5 highest grossing pay-per-view events in professional wrestling history. After leaving WWE in 2010, he re-signed in December 2013, making his first appearance back in January 2014 and won that year's Royal Rumble match. He headlined WrestleMania 30 before again departing that June. In October 2018, Batista made his second return to WWE and faced Triple H at WrestleMania 35 in April 2019 before retiring from wrestling. So you think about his matches, winning that many titles, and also having matches with against guys like the Undertaker. You know, Batista and Undertaker was one of the greatest rivalries, and had a great match together at WrestleMania 23. I remember that, but that was a great match watching that as a kid. But WrestleMania 23 with Batista and Taker was great. So I would definitely say Batista. Next, I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy. We all know, his recent struggles with drug and alcoholism and things like that. But for the most part, besides focusing on all of that, I think Jeff is a great in-ring talent. He's one of the greatest in-ring performers ever. You know, uh, born and raised in Cameron, North Carolina. Started his career as a youth performing in the Trampoline Wrestling Federation, which he started alongside his brother Matt Hardy. Eventually, that would transition to the organization of Modern Extreme Grappling Arts, Omega. As they became older as a tag team, the Hardy Boys worked as enhancement talents for the World Wrestling Federation from 1994 and were signed to full-time contracts in 1998. They gained notoriety in the tag team division, partly due to their participation in tables, ladders, and chairs matches. With the addition of Lita, the team became known as the Team Extreme and continued to rise in popularity after splitting up as a team in 2002. Jeff's popularity as a singles wrestler began to grow. However, the brothers still teamed up sporadically in the years afterward, and together they have held 21 World Tag Team Championships between WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor and other promotions in wrestling. He is currently signed to All Elite Wrestling, which is known as AEW. Hardy is widely considered one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time and is regarded as one of the most daring high flyers and risk takers throughout his career. Together, his brother Matt Hardy, the tag team, the Hardy Boys, are now widely regarded as one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling history, which they are. Period. Period, Pooh. Period, Pooh. They are the world's greatest. When you talk about greatest tag team in wrestling, you talk about the Hardy Boys. So, period, Pooh. So, Jeff Hardy, in my opinion, is the charismatic enigma. He definitely on that list. Y'all know what y'all talking about. But here we go. Next, I'm going to have to go with my man, Chris Jericho. Better known by the ring name Chris Jericho, is an American-Canadian professional wrestler and singer. He is currently signed to All Elite Wrestling, AEW, where he is the leader of the stable Jericho Appreciation Society. Noted over for his the top rock star persona has been named by journalists and industry colleagues as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. During the 1990s, Jericho performed for American organizations ECW and WCW, as well as promotions in countries such as Canada, Japan, and Mexico. At the end of 1999, he made his debut in the World Wrestling Federation at the time, which was known as WWF. In 2001, he became the first undisputed WWF champion and thus final holder of the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, having won and unified the WWF and World titles by defeating Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock on the same night. Jericho headlined multiple pay-per-view events during his time with the WWE, including WrestleMania, TLC Elimination Chamber, matches, and the shows itself. He was inducted into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame in 2010. Within the WWE, Jericho is a six-time world champion, having won the undisputed WWF Championship once, the WCW World Championship twice, and the World Heavyweight Championship 3 times. He was also held the WWE Intercontinental Championship a record of 9 times and was the 9th Triple Crown champion, as well as the 4th Grand Slam champion in history. After his departure from WWE in 2018, Jericho signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he became a one-time IWGP Intercontinental Champion and becoming the first man to hold both the WWE and IWGP Intercontinental Championships. Jericho joined AEW in January 2019 and became the inaugural holder of the AEW World Championship in August of that year. All total between ECW, WCW, WWE, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and AEW, Jericho has held 34 championships, including 7 world championships and 10 intercontinental championships. Man, damn, Jericho. But anyway, in 1999, Jericho became lead vocalist of heavy metal band Fozzy, who released their debut album the following year. But yeah, he's got a band called Fozzy, and their music is good. But Chris Jericho is great, man. I mean, you gotta love Jericho. All those championship titles and those successes and wins. The guy. I mean, what's the guy's net worth? I mean, let's look that up real quick. Chris Jericho's net worth is $18 million. Chris Jericho is filthy rich. I will say that. Yeah, so Chris Jericho is definitely one of my favorites. He's entertaining on the mic. He's great in the ring. He's good at promos. He was always a great heel in WWE. If you watched WWE around the time I was watching, you knew as a kid, you knew Chris Jericho was a great heel. So let's just understand that. Period, Pooh. So next, we are going to talk about The Undertaker. The Undertaker definitely has to be on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. And this is why I say that. He's the greatest out of all promotions. Calloway, The Undertaker, began his career in 1987, working under various gimmicks for World Class Championship Wrestling and other affiliate promotions. He became USWA Unified World Heavyweight Champion and WCWA Texas Heavyweight Champion. During this time, after signing with World Championship Wrestling in 1989, he had a brief stint in the mid-card as Mean Marcus Calloway before joining the World Wrestling Federation, which is now WWE. In 1990, Calloway rebranded as The Undertaker. Once joining WWE as one of WWE's most popular enduring characters, The Undertaker was known for his undead funeral persona, which gained significant mainstream popularity and won him the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Award for Best Gimmick, a record-setting 5 years in a row. The longest tenured wrestler in company history at 30 years, The Undertaker is one of the most prominent figures of the Attitude Era, a high ratings enveloped pushing generation of the WWE. In the later 1990s, Calloway expanded on the Undertaker gimmick by assuming a biker identity dubbed American Badass in 2000. Calloway resurrected the dead man Undertaker in 2004, with recital elements of American Badass Undertaker remaining. For the better part of his career, The Undertaker was observed as a focal point of WWE's flagship annual event, WrestleMania, where he became esteemed for the streak, a series of 21 straight victories. He is also known for pairing with his in storyline half brother, the Kane, with whom he had an alternative feud and teamed off on and off with the Brothers of Destruction from 1997 through 2020. Let's get to his championship victories. The Undertaker won his first Royal Rumble match on January 28th, 2007, in doing so becoming the first man to enter the Rumble at number 30 and win the match after lastly eliminating Shawn Michaels on the February 5th episode of Raw. Undertaker elected to face World Heavyweight Champion Batista at WrestleMania 23 before attacking him with a chokeslam. At No Way Out, No Way Out pay-per-view, Undertaker and Batista reluctantly teamed together to challenge John Cena and Shawn Michaels for the World Tag Team Championship, but failed to win after Batista gained revenge on Undertaker by hitting him with a spinebuster, allowing Cena to pin him. At WrestleMania 23 on April 1st, Undertaker defeated Batista to win his first ever World Heavyweight Championship and extend at the time his streak to 15-0. Damn, Undertaker is one of the greatest. Last but not least on this list, we are going to have to go with my man, the rated R superstar Edge. Adam Joseph Copeland is a Canadian professional wrestler and actor. He is currently signed to WWE, where he performs on the Monday Night Raw brand under the ring name Edge. After making his professional wrestling debut in 1992, Copeland wrestled in various independent promotions, competing in singles and tag team competition. Later, with longtime friend Christian Cage, in 1997, Copeland signed a developmental deal with the World Wrestling Federation and WWE and made his televised debut in 1998 as Edge. After winning his first WWE Championship, the WWF Intercontinental Championship. In July 1999, Edge formed a tag team with Christian, and the two won the World Tag Team Championships on 7 occasions. During this time, they gained notoriety in the tag team division, as he has held the World Heavyweight Championship a record of 7 times, the WWE Championship 4 times, the Intercontinental Championship 5 times, the United States Championship once, the World Tag Team Championship a record of 12 times, and the WWE Tag Team Championships twice. He is WWE's 14th Triple Crown champion and 7th Grand Slam champion. Edge won the King of the Ring tournament in 2001, was the first Money in the Bank ladder match winner in 2005, and won the 2010 Royal Rumble match, making him the first wrestler in history to achieve all 3. So there we go, man. You think about greats. You think about a list of all-time names and big names and guys that have really done this and dedicate their lives to this industry and that business. You think about Edge. The guy was doing it like the Hardy Boys back when they were teenagers. They were kids doing this. Edge it was doing this when he was like a teenager back in the 90s. I remember when he was in the Brood stable. So it's stuff like that. You gotta remember Edge. I mean, I was before my time, but because I'm young, I didn't even watch all that. But still, hearing about it, learning about it, Edge just sounds like pretty much one of the all-time greats. And you just can't deny that he's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. When you think about the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, you think about guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan, AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Eddie freaking Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero definitely makes that list of all-time greats. Rey Mysterio. The names can go on about who's in the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, and that's a big list of who's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. But we will pick this up another time. We will continue on another edition episode of Let's Talk Wrestling, talk about who is on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, who is the all-time greats. Like I said, Kane, The Undertaker, John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Names go on, and in-ring talent, they're just great. So therefore, Randy, man, I could go for hours and hours and hours about who is on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Stay blessed, stay positive, love God, put God first, love life, love yourself, love God. And thank you guys. Stay blessed, man. And thank you for watching. Don't never let nobody take your happiness away. Always hold on to your happiness, because your happiness means everything to you. Love your family, love your friends, love yourself, and God bless. Subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all. See you next time.